This is a Fox News alert. Saturday in America continuing to track fraud allegations all across the country. We've seen it in Maine. We brought you some questions about some funding that allegedly was misused in Maine. Those were private donations. Then California. And now, here's the next state, Massachusetts. Now, the state's auditor just released a report revealing massive fraud within programs like Mass Health, the Department of Transitional Assistance, and the Department of Early Education and Care. These are all programs that provide social services to the Massachusetts community. And as you can see, there was over $4 million in fraud uncovered in the state's SNAP program alone. Another $1.3 million connected to the state's Mass Health program, and hundreds of thousands of dollars found in other state programs. We're also learning of 22 civil recoveries that reclaimed nearly $800,000 in fraudulent overpayments. Now, the total amount of fraud in fiscal year 2025 alone was nearly $12 million. That's in 1 year. That's your money. Now, as all this fraud is being exposed, President Trump is reportedly planning to sign an executive order establishing a new fraud task force. Signaling its importance, it will be led by Vice President J.D. Vance. And joining me now to react to all of this is House Oversight Committee member Tim Burchett. You know, Congressman Burchett, when we look at that, several of these are federal programs, SNAP, by way of example, Social Security. This is taxpayer money that is being misused, and it appears to be rampant. It is not just Minnesota.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct. And President Trump is, as he always is, he is the messenger in chief. By putting J.D. Vance in charge of that, I ran into J.D. last week in the White House, and I was encouraging him in this role because I think that what you're going to see is it's rampant across our country, but in these blue-controlled states, you know, they have a pattern of this. Through the fraud is ingrained within the administration, within the bureaucracy, if you will. They encourage illegals to come there. They give them driver's license, and then there's automatic voter registration, and then they sign up for these social programs. It follows a pattern. And I've told people, I said, when y'all go pay your taxes this year, remember that $14 billion that they stole from you in Minnesota, and the gutless politicians that won't call them out on the carpet, because that's what we got to have. And that's what President Trump is doing right now. And by putting JD, you know JD pretty well, I'd say a lot better than I do. But dadgum, he's a fighter, and he's nobody's dummy.
No, he's not. And he's going to be leading the task force. So you've got Vice President Vance. You also have Andrew Ferguson. So he's a federal official whose job is to prevent consumers from being exploited. I can't think of a better person there to be alongside Vice President Vance. But you said you spoke with him. Do you feel, and I know he is, because you're right, I do know Vice President Vance, he's on the mission. Did he share with you anything specifically that they're looking at?
Well, I won't. As you know, I don't get invited to the White House very often, or the Oval Office. So any discussions I have with them, I try to keep those private. But I feel very confident that he understands this role. You know, this president understands, too, that a vice president isn't just somebody that goes out and presents flags and represents the country in, you know, some far off lands where he can't get in trouble. He's putting J.D. in the mix. And one of the reasons he's putting him in the mix, because he's a dadgum United States Marine, like my dad and my brother-in-law Cliff. You know, he gets it. And you know, the Marines have a motto: it's Semper Fidelis, always faithful. And JD, dadgum, he's always faithful, and he's faithful to this country. And I couldn't be more excited about this role, because we have too much talk in Congress. Everybody wants to have a dadgum hearing, as you know, and then we follow some other shiny object down the road, and nothing occurs. But this is a president and a vice president of action, and we're going to see some action, and it's long overdue.
I love that you say that, because I hear that all the time. I hear from people, citizens, who say there are hearings, and where is the action? And maybe this task force takes us to that action. You know, I understand and respect that you don't want to share your private conversations, but I do want to ask you about broadly characterizing. I know you went in, you met with the president about something different. It's the SAVE Act. Anna Paulina Luna, your colleague, wanted to hold up this government funding because of the SAVE Act, which I understand. It is very, very important. Voter ID. Wildly popular. And the Senate, unless they get 60 votes, unless they blow up the filibuster, they're not going to be able to pass it. You went in, you communicated with the president. Where do you think we go from here? Do you think this gets passed?
Well, I honestly think the president realizes he's a businessman and he can count. And we have a few Senate holdouts. And I think honestly, this might come as a shock, but I don't think Leader Thune has been characterized in the right light there. I think he's trying to thread that needle. I think he sees it and he knows it, with 85% of the population thinking that somebody does need to show a dadgum ID to vote. They need to prove that they're an American citizen. I'm not a beer drinker, but dadgummit, in Tennessee, you have to show an ID to buy a 6-pack of beer or in some over-the-counter medications, and yet they're throwing out Jim Crow. Schumer is. To me, it's racism that Schumer thinks that a minority population cannot produce that are American citizens can't produce an ID. To me, that just shows the ignorance of the left and where this country's headed. And we got to have some politicians with some guts, Kylie. And currently, right now, I don't see a lot of them in the White House. In the vice president seat, I do. There's a few of us, but thank goodness for Representative Luna. She is a fighter. I was just going in a supportive role. I really got a little vocal in there with the president on it and his support of it as well, because he wants it. He says, he said, Tim, it needs to be the Save America Act, not the, and it does, because it will save America. People don't realize that you can just walk in and vote, and we're going to steal this. They'll steal it from us. And they're going to take it without a shot, Kylie. And it scares me for the future of our country, for the world my daughter's going to grow up, that we do not have a representative form of democracy. But I'll tell you what else. If 12% of the population continues to be the only ones that vote, we're going to go down this path. If 40% of evangelical Christians, and I try to be one, I try to save a few souls every now and then, and I'm a Christian. If we don't get to the polls, when 30% of gun owners don't go to the polls, this is what happens in our country. Kylie, we got to put so many dadgum points on the board, they can't steal it from us. And this is what's got to occur. People got to get involved. They got to hold Washington accountable. And currently, right now, they're not. Because if we have one more dadgum hearing, I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, we are keeping up the drumbeat on Saturday in America. We have been on this for 4 weeks. We've seen 36 co-sponsors go to 50. We've seen Senator Rick Scott come on this program, talk about the standing filibuster, using it to get this through. So we are on it. I know you are too, Congressman Burchett. Thank you for your time.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.